they just jump in there, and that's usually a lot easier for them to hop on. Yes, so we are live there. Beautiful. Okay, everyone, you guys are going to let me know if you can see my screen, okay? So this is, oh boy, 1 second here. Facebook, you're seeing it all happen live. One moment. So guys, welcome to our session. You know, I always like to, when I can, hop on and give parents an opportunity to dive deeper, okay? It isn't an easy journey that you have your kids on. It's something that we know a lot of parents, it's almost this risk journey, right? So you have your kids enrolled in a French program at school, and it's very likely that you yourself don't speak French at home. So it is always my pleasure, I feel even my responsibility to equip you as best possible with what else you can be doing, okay? I always preface these conversations, obviously not every child is the same, okay? So what they are into, what may draw their interest, what may stick for one and not the other. It is up to you as parents now, knowing what maybe you see them react differently to start to implement that, okay? So we are also live on IG. Hi, everyone, welcome. Today's session, we are talking about how to help your child in French, even when you don't speak the language. So for those just hopping on, if you've never met me before, my name is Elise Beckles. I am the founder here at the French Tutor, and our whole goal is, number one, to ensure your child on their French immersion journey is building the confidence they deserve to have. And secondly, they master the foundations of their reading comprehension, French literacy and confidence, my top two, okay, my only two. So let's jump right in. So we have our parents on our Zoom call who have their kids enrolled in French immersion, okay? This, as I was just sharing, it is that risk, it's that calculated, maybe not so calculated risk, but one that can prove to be very worthwhile. So today I'm going to share with you guys some tips. I'm going to probably drop a lot of things maybe you've seen before, maybe you haven't, but I want you to really just take some time to take some notes, okay? See what works for you. A lot of how you help your child is test and learn, okay? So here's one of the first things I want to share. So firstly, if you want to help your child in French immersion, let's try this. In terms of vocabulary building, here's what I would suggest, okay? Like I said, test it out at home. So firstly, try to label objects around the house with their French names, okay? This is not an exercise for those only in primary. And I mean, junior level and high school students, even adult learners, can benefit when you label objects around the house. So one tip I like to say is go to wherever you can buy Post-its, okay? Hopefully somewhere affordable, all right? Get Post-its, guys, and have this be an exercise that you implement with your kids on, let's say, a weekly basis or even a monthly basis. Have them pick maybe 5 to 10 items around the house, hopefully of words they do not know, and have them label those objects in both French and English. I have observed over the years, because a lot of our kids, the majority, the dominant language is English. So very often the French starts to make sense faster when they have the English. So knowing that, for example, computer, right? Computer is computer in English, and in French, ordinateur, seeing those side by side, now you're retaining. You're retaining because right away on that Post-it, you saw ordinateur and computer side by side. Retention, that's what vocab building is intended to do, okay? So try that one, okay? Let me know how it goes. Then playing French music and podcasts in the background. I cannot say to you how beneficial I have seen this be. When we talk about passive learning, and I always give the example, this is the reason why your kids may know the lyrics of some songs that maybe they don't need to know the lyrics for because it's on the radio, but it's because that happened in a passive way. They're not sitting down and paying full attention to, let's say, the song playing or the music they're listening to all the time, but something is sticking. So try this as well with French. If we're looking to identify or rectify certain areas of their French learning, music is a beautiful way to do that and to introduce that, and let it be passive, okay? So when I say passive, I mean if you have it maybe in the background, right? Background music, and make sure it is age appropriate. Spotify has some pretty good playlists in French, okay? So look for French playlists for children, and even podcasts. So maybe if they're not at the age where podcasts would be relevant for them, try French audiobooks, okay? We've got to start to build our different sensory levels for our kids in all areas. So reading is great. Yes, we work on the reading. It's very important. But it'd be really sad if they can read, right? Read the words. And then if someone speaks to them, that they're not able to put together or understand. So we're building all the muscles, okay? And listening is actually a very necessary muscle in French learning as well. The third one I want to mention for vocabulary building specifically has everything to do with encouraging your child to speak French at home by using it yourself. So this is your opportunity, parents, to butcher it. You know the kids love to embarrass, right? When they say, oh, that's not how you pronounce it, mom. Okay, how do you pronounce it? Use that, okay? Use it, use it, use it. Because this is their opportunity to almost be the teacher in this example, but it also shows that you're a partner in their French learning journey. Okay, makes sense? Now, in terms of daily reading practice, so I do believe it is important if you are trying to improve on, get better in something, that you got to do it daily, all right? You got to do it daily. And it doesn't mean you have to do it for a long time daily. That's maybe one of the misconceptions. If you've been with us for a while, you know I give the story of growing up. For some reason, the go read a book activity that our parents loved to think it wasn't a fun activity. It wasn't fun, guys. Newsflash, it was not fun. It was not fun. So dedicating reading time in French each day, guys, let's balance it. Okay, so it isn't that directive of go read a book. You have free time, read a book. I'm bored, mom, read a book. Well, that isn't really going to be an incentive. So here's what I'll say for this. Reading 15 to 20 minutes a day in French is very, very effective. It's more impactful than we know. One fun way, if you wanted to maybe gamify it a little, have your child tell Alexa, tell Siri, set the timer for 15 minutes. Okay, so if there are those kids who are like, is it over yet? Is it over yet? Have them call out the timer, and then they kind of have this countdown, but it is all about dedicating that time specifically to reading. That's what it's about, okay? Then a second element I would say to try to incorporate would be to read French books together with your child and discuss the story. I'll take this a bit further. I would say have your kids read the books to you. I know the majority of you don't speak French, okay? That's fine. It's not a requirement for you to speak French. What is a requirement is for you to be a participant in this journey, okay? Not the teacher, but a participant with them. So I always give the visual of your child is in the middle, okay? We stand on one side of them holding their hand, and you stand on the other side, okay? And we're guiding. We're doing the guiding. So have them read books to you. That's building more muscles than you can even imagine. It's building their confidence. Very often our kids, they're afraid to speak out loud in French, or in French environments. Normally there is read aloud time. So maybe Madame or Monsieur might call on them and it's their turn to read. So we want them to get comfortable with that. That starts at home. Have them read a French book to you. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for the habit and the confidence build in reading out loud, okay? And being comfortable in that. Then When it comes to daily reading practice, your job is just to ask questions like, what is this story about? Okay. And it's not about the accuracy at this point. Let evaluations and let school environments and extra classes deal with accuracy, but your job is to show the interest. You know, when you see a title of a book, say, oh, what does this title say? If there's images or pictures involved, I wonder what this character is going to get up to, right? So ask questions about the plot. Be curious, be, like I said, their student when it comes to all things French reading, and then encourage them to share their opinions. So if the story, they tell you, okay, well, this character decided to do this thing and this was the consequence, you might ask them, like, what do you think about that? Was that a good idea that they went down this decision-making path? Right? So just have a conversation, guys. Open up conversations when it comes to reading, because it does light a child up differently when a parent is asking specifically about what they're doing. And it's not the do your homework instruction or read a book, but hey, what's that about? The storytelling, right? Let's get them going with that. Then we have interactive language activity. So this is all about, like I shared, how to create a language-rich environment at home. So when we're talking about interactive language activities, we do a lot of them in our programs, but games like charades, Pictionary, using French vocab is a big one. Okay, if you have siblings, so some of you on the call have siblings, encourage games like that, even if it's a little bit silly, right? It's just the habit of, okay, language learning can be a lot more fun than we might think, okay? Then this is a huge one. We know our kids are, for lack of a better word, they are addicted to their devices, or they would like to be. Maybe we balance it, but they're just drawn to it, okay? They're drawn to it because something in those games is keeping their attention. Something is exciting, something could even be challenging, because guys, those games are, there's levels, right? You got to get to the next level of these games. So what I would say is try to encourage learning language apps, okay? There's online resources, and for those on the call, I'm actually going to send you a document specifically where you'll have a resource list, and you can literally, through the document, it's labeled, you can enter different videos, different websites, okay, just for you guys here. But these sites are designed for your children. So if there is screen time being allocated, let's just make sure that some of it involves some French learning. Okay, we don't want to completely, I mean, the world is a digital age. We don't want to shield them from that, but we do want to let them know you can be online, you can be using your device and having fun in a way that some intentional learning is happening. All right. And then finally on this one, finding French immersion websites that offer interactive exercises. So what is a little bit more specific for our immersion and full French students is sometimes what we're seeing online is a little bit generic. Okay, and there's a place for that. So there are those who are considered beginners who do not have immersion training. Okay, they do not have their math in French or science in French. That's just not their experience. So if your child is in French immersion, which you guys on this specific call are, then just try your best, even if you're in your searches, looking for French immersion specific resources. Okay, it makes a difference. And you'll, as you start to find that, you'll see the differences. It is a little bit more for elevated, more challenging experience, which is what they need. Okay, so let's move on. How else do you create a language-rich environment at home? Practice conversations. Encourage your child to engage in French. If, like I said, there's a family member, there's friends, there is a neighbor, there is someone you know who speaks French, encourage them. It's something growing up, like I was encouraged to do. I didn't shy away from it because I could speak it, but what we don't want is our kids to freeze in situations. They're learning a language to be fluent and bilingual in it. So they got to build the confidence to be able to have those spur of the moment conversations. That's what fluency is. Fluency is not getting stuck. They're building, right? They're building that fluency muscle, but we don't want them to shy away from the practice moments. Those practice moments can come and we want them to be ready for them. Okay, so encourage them to have those conversations. When I speak about practicing conversations, I love the idea of role play. It's fun. And growing up, I took a lot of drama classes at school because it's kind of exciting and creative. So ordering food, pretending that you're ordering food in French is a fun one. I like to share with parents some scenarios. So sometimes it's, okay, pretend we are away on vacation and we need to order a pizza. What are you ordering for the family, for the pizza? What's on the pizza? Fun, simple. Okay, they could be having dinner and you say, okay, I want you to present what meal we're having today. What are our menu? What's in here? What's in this meal? Okay, things like that. It's fun. It could feel silly, but you'd be surprised how those real life scenario conversations really help to build their French speaking and fluency. Next, let's talk about enrolling in additional language resources. So everyone on the call, you're in our program. So you are on this call because you're in our program, but there's parents who maybe do not see a benefit in having classes outside of school. There are parents who still feel that, you know what, you have time. You're just in elementary school, you have time. But where I sit with that is that French immersion learning, and I'll actually give the example, how we know the classroom to be, it's like teaching your kids to swim in a pond when there is this great big ocean of learning that needs to happen. So the structure, and we know our teachers have to get through a lot of the curriculum in a certain amount of time, and that's just the nature of school. But when you're looking to really get to the next level, when you're looking to really examine the intricacies and get that pinpointed support, extra classes is where it happens. It's not just the French thing. Okay, if I want to get better at fitness, I can go to the I don't know, I can go to just an average program, but then I might need to get a personal trainer. I might need to get a smaller group to really get those skills refined. Okay. And I also want to chat about celebrating milestones and progress. So I know, guys, the report cards are out this week. Okay. And for our full French students, they're coming out at a different timing, but you've had at least a progress conversation. And here's what I want to share. And I want to reassure a lot of the parents on this call. Report cards, they matter. They matter, but they really are not the full story. So even with those progressing with difficulty marks or indications, that just means that our children are not at the grade level or at the milestone that has been set for them. Does not mean they're not going to get there. Okay, we're November. They've got until June. All right. It just means that there's the standard and they're not there yet based on what we've evaluated. So that could be 2 tests, guys. Like every school and every teacher is different. It doesn't give the full picture. So what you're looking to do is really acknowledge your child's achievements in French, whether big or small. Some of the wins that your kids will have, for me, they're huge, but for others, they're just invisible wins. If your child is building more confidence, if I can see that your child came in really timid, but now they're one of the first ones to raise their hand, that's an invisible win. That's worth a lot for me, okay? Than them being able to memorize words on a dictée on their spelling test, and then next week, they don't know how to use that word, right? So where's the retention, okay? And when I ask them how their weekend is going and we're chit-chatting and they're able to gather their thoughts in French and output that back to me, that's fluency, that's an invisible win. When we're looking at even having a show and tell, and they can be so passionate about explaining their item or object and the background. And if I ask questions like, okay, well, what did you get this for? Is that a souvenir? Is it a gift? And they can express themselves. Those are wins that maybe a report card can't measure. Okay, so just have confidence. It is a journey. Okay, it's a slow build, the immersion journey, but with the right intentions and focus, they'll get there. Okay, and then finally, this is a good one. Celebrate your children's milestones with small rewards or incentives. So it doesn't have to be the biggest treat in the world. It doesn't even have to be what you call a treat, okay? But perhaps there's a scoreboard. I remember as a child, guys, I don't know if it's still a big deal, but getting a sticker, like stickers were, you get a sticker on something, you are feeling so good about yourself. So even if you guys are doing a visual board, okay, a visual board and maybe achievement of the week, doesn't have to be academic. Okay, maybe your child showed extra kindness to somebody around that you observed. Maybe you've noticed, wow, you're doing a lot of things a little bit more independently. I'm not having to remind you of a certain thing, right? So track those milestones however you can visually, be it a sticker or whatever, and then you decide maybe every quarter, every month, they get a small reward. Okay, a small reward and incentives does a lot for them. Okay, or you can work towards it. Say, hey, I want to see 5 stickers on this board by the end of the week to incentivize them. Okay, they're working towards something. Okay, let's set expectations for our kids. All right, so guys on the call, this is the resource list I'm going to be sending to you guys privately in the Zoom chat. Okay, so these resources, just want to walk you through what they are, but they're categorized almost like a self-serve menu. So YouTube is your friend. That's what Elise will say. And that's what I believe. YouTube's your friend. We're in an age, guys, when I grew up, we didn't have YouTube. We pushed through French immersion, but our kids today, we got a world of learning. The University of YouTube. You guys heard of that? So YouTube is like just so much you can find out and discover and refine through YouTube. It's a blessing. YouTube is your friend. So the first piece here is the basics. So for those who probably have their kids in the grade 1, not even go grade 1 to 3, basics are something we always got to review. Okay, so these are just different links where the basics are not just about them watching it, but watching to interact. So we are seeing it, they are repeating after what the video is saying, and that is leading to retention. Okay, we're not just looking at something and being passive. These are intentional learning pieces. Okay, so the basics. All right. Very often, I'll just say this really quickly. Our kids are older, like grade 5 up, and there's some pieces of this that are missing as well. They may not even remember all the seasons or how to describe the weather. So we're looking, don't say, hey, this is the basics slide for you, my grade 5, but sprinkle it in. Okay, the basics should never go away. That review is always necessary. Next resource you guys will have access to is grammar. So in grammar, it is something we cannot run away from. In French, if you were to ask French learners what their least favorite part of the language is, I'm thinking maybe it would be grammar. Maybe not. You guys can tell me if it's not, but grammar, because it is this thing where it is so complex. It's complex and it's a lot of memory work because there's rules, literally. Grammar rules for the tenses. So this is your little snapshot, your little cheat sheet for grammar if your kids are being challenged more and more with grammar in their classes. So this talks about pronouns, and they'll know all of this. If it applies to them, they'll click it and they'll understand what to do, okay? Verbs. Okay, the most important verbs in the French language are être and avoir, to have and to be. Okay, these links explain why. Useful verbs in French. So what I always share with things like grammar is our kids get to true fluency when they're able to speak with ease, to write with ease, to know what tense to describe whatever scenario they're communicating about. Okay, so grammar is that thing where it is a little uncomfortable, but it's the most necessary piece of French learning. It's where you really master and really polish off a lot of your French. Okay, so you guys are getting this, all right? So have no fear, just walking it through to show you what you will be receiving. Then I talk about additional resources. Some of my parents who've been with us for a while on this call, you'll hopefully have had, you probably ordered these by now, but these are your holy grail, okay? These are the resources you buy today and you'll have them 10 years from now, because I do. Bécherel. Bécherel is like the French Bible, okay? This is the French language grammar reference book where it literally has all the conjugations that ever existed in French in one compact book. This will take them through high school, through university. I have a Bécherel to this day, all right? Bécherel. If you do not own one for your child yet, please order one. Bécherel. It is probably the number one. It's probably the best investment French-wise in terms of a product that you will make, okay? Then there's a dictionary. So dictionary, I have certain ones that I will place above others, just given like what level of French your kids are operating at, if they're in immersion or full French. But having a French English dictionary, even a full French dictionary at some point is necessary, okay? I tell our students all the time, there's no way you should not know what a word means. You guys are on like a digital classroom. Please close this browser, open up your Larousse or whatever French dictionary you have and look it up. So we're teaching them those skills, but we got to train them to use those skills. Some of them do not know how to use a dictionary, okay? And if you wanted to start off maybe with just the digital one, like online dictionary, I'm okay with that. But it's just the habit and telling them, teaching them in a way how to fish, because the answers are there. There's no reason you should look at a text and have like an ongoing moment of confusion when the answer's in the dictionary, okay? And then finally, Language. So Language is also like a translation website, okay? Parents on the call, you're getting a copy of this. Pronunciation resources, huge, huge, huge pronunciation. You become better by practicing. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. Pronunciation is repetition, okay? So the way that you get better at this is repeating. So all of these are, I would say, items and things they would say on a regular basis, because for me to build their fluency muscle, you gotta speak about things that are around you and around you all the time. So parts of the body, okay? Rooms in the house, objects in the house, kitchen, bathroom, toys. These videos are the visual. Like I said, they participate by repeating after what the video is saying, and then they're also having the retention, okay, and the pronunciation happening all at once. Cool. Then cartoons and stories. So we can't escape it. They love their cartoons. They love their cartoons. What's kind of cool about a lot of French content now, it's bringing English into the French. So there's Peppa Pig in French. What's cool about this is a YouTube where like it has the opposite captions, which I spoke to you guys about, I think a few weeks ago, but there's something really special that happens when you are engaging in content in one language and watching the captions in another, or vice versa. I'm a closed captions person. I like closed captions. The TV can be on high or loud and I'm having closed captions. Why? Because my brain is doing some heavier lifting. Like I want to keep my brain strong. So that's the way to do it. Closed captioning is amazing. So these have some captions that help them do a little bit more work, but it's also that English French where they can start to make sense if they're just still beginning to make sense of what's going on, okay? Then there's some conversation resources. So just things that kids want to talk about. They always want to talk about pizza. Whenever I ask them what their favorite food is, 80% is pizza, okay? And just familiar things, but done in conversation style, that's going to help a lot of their vocabulary and pronunciation blend together. Okay, other resources, you guys will get this. This is just some online games, okay? All right, so here's a little bit, as we're kind of winding down now, here's a sample learning schedule. I, by no means, want to tell you guys how to fit French into your child's day, but there are literally some families who say, Elise, please give me an example of how we can start implementing some of these things. So this is just a template, okay? Take it for what it is, and maybe this is only happening on one day of the week, okay? So just as an example, right? So on a Monday, you can decide, and maybe this week it's, you have certain goals. So the goal for this week is greetings in French. Your child's just starting out, be it being like grade 1 or SK, or maybe they're starting late French immersion. And these basics still matter and still have to happen, okay? So greetings in French. Okay, bonjour, comment ça va? Aujourd'hui c'est, il fait beau, froid. So this is like a weather, okay? Aujourd'hui c'est would probably be the date, right? Then before school, an example of what you could do. Share with parents, right? So your child sharing with you how they want the day to be. It's not, first of all, that's amazing. Like setting your intention for the day, even as a child, I plan to have a good day. Une bonne journée, a good day, right? I want to learn, apprendre, to learn, jouer avec mes amis, play with my friends, faire mes devoirs. So that is like bigger, guys. Like, I'm really into growth mindset as well. When we're having our kids set intentions for their day, plan to have a good day. If all they want to do today is eat their snack and play with their friends, have them set that intention. That's what they're looking forward to, okay? And this is also adjective work, right? So they'll get to a point where they'll be able to tell you in English, yes, but the whole goal is to eventually tell me that in French, right? So they might say a good day. How do you say that in French? Okay, you're not here to fact check. This is just the habit we're building, okay? I want to play with my friends today. One of my students in my class, he loves, everything for him is soccer. Oh, Madame Elisa had a great day. We played soccer outside. Okay, how do you say that in French? So that's your job. Your job is how do you say that in French, okay? Then describe, now with their home, right? Describe the dinner. Describe the dinner they're having, right? Remember I spoke to you guys about that. So describing the dinner, what are we eating today? Okay, what's the colors of our food? Okay, having them be your teacher in these moments. Before bed, an example, have them share emotions in French, fatigué, tired, right? How was your day? How are you feeling? Fatigué, I'm tired. Content, happy. Satisfait, satisfied. Triste, sad. Peur, scared. Anxieux, anxious. Okay, we welcome all these feelings. This is them expressing themselves. I always challenge our students. We don't want the basics. So how they in my opinion, like impressively express themselves in English, I'm always impressed how they can describe how they're feeling and what's happening around them. We want that same color in French. So not every day is a good day. Not every day is this day where everything was rosy. So having them develop the language to tell you, and once again, they say I'm tired or my day was tiring. How do you say tired in French? Oh, my day was a little bit triste. I didn't get to color as long as I wanted to, or we got, someone wasn't listening. So we got our, our treat removed for the week. Guys, there's a lot going on at school. So sad, right? How do you say sad? Triste. Okay, that's sort of the rhythm, right? Then in bed, read a visual story in French. This is when they are reading to you. Okay, nothing too long because we know how that can go at bedtime. So just a short, even if you look online, for our more advanced kiddos, what I would say is even like a French audio book, but try to be very detailed in your search. French bedtime story audiobook. Be very detailed, okay? Because then that will like determine the length as well, okay? And then finally, as you guys go to bed, have them say good night in French, greetings in French, right? Bonne nuit, good night. Fais de beaux rêves, have sweet dreams, je t'aime, I love you, okay? So this is just an example, guys. Like I said, I know life is hectic and a lot's going on, but whatever pieces of this you can start to plug in, that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. All right. So remember, that consistency, it's what it's about. Consistency of practice are the major keys when helping your child in French immersion. Okay, your job is just making the learning experience enjoyable and being their cheerleader along the way. And with your support, okay, with your support, they will thrive in their language journey. All right, so that is our little powwow for today. Do you guys have any questions? My parents on the call. I want to make sure everyone is responded to. What I will do as well, guys, I'm sending you this document right to this Zoom chat. This will really help you guys start implementing some stuff. Yes, is it Sandra?
Yes, it is, Elise. Thank you very much for your information. It is very helpful. I wish I can say, well, I can say messy, but you know, I can't say a complete sentence to you in French. But yeah, thank you for sharing the resources as well, which would be very helpful for the kids.
You're welcome.
And yeah, I find it very, very helpful. And of course, I do practice some of the things, not all, as you said, you know, life is very busy, but I do practice some of it. And you did give some great tips as to, you know, label stuff around the house, have them, which is a good start, right? Repetition is really good. So, yep, thank you very much for all your information.
You're welcome, Sandra. Thank you.
Merci.
And yeah, check the chat, okay? The chat has your link, guys. Once the Zoom chat ends or the Zoom call ends, that will disappear. So just copy and paste it or click it and open it on your device. Okay, anyone else? Any questions? You guys want to get a little bit more detailed clarity?
Thank you.
You're
Merci.
welcome. Bienvenue. Jopello, I know you're in our adult class, so you're learning more.
Yes, I'm learning.
Very good. Awesome. Good stuff.
Question for you on audiobooks. Is there a recommended audiobook list or even reading list, right? For them?
Yeah, so you're a little bit of special case. I talk about your daughter without saying her name in conversations, because guys, we have a grade 1 student who is currently hanging with our grade 3-4 class because she's just so advanced. So for me, it is also about, like, we don't want our kids to get bored, right? So if we are seeing they are operating at a higher level, then it is important we continue to pour into that and challenge them. I never want our kids to be like, oh, I'm so bored. I think Sandra, who was on this call just now, we have her daughter as well in a higher class because she's very bright and she can hang with the older kiddos. So we have her in a higher class. So what I would say is I can look on, because everyone has a different streaming device. That's, I think, why I don't mention explicit ones, because I use Spotify, but someone else might have Apple Music, and there's different offerings. Not everything exists everywhere.
Right.
So what I can do for you specifically is, given that I'd probably want to keep Jorge challenged and doing more advanced content, I'm gonna probably pull from our higher resource list and give you some options there, but it would depend what streaming platform you do have as well.
Apple Music.
Apple Music. Okay, cool. I'll make a note of that and we'll get you that list, okay?
Awesome, thank you. And that's like a lot of pressure. The fact that she's advanced. I'm like, I'm just learning.
Honestly, we don't decide, right? These kids
have to catch up.
Right. That's really good though. She's been doing great. Anyone else with questions before we wrap up? Thank you guys for hanging out. You guys okay?
Yes, I am. It sounds fun. It makes me want to join the French classes too.
You should, Sandra.
Yeah, it's just the time I would love to. It's just maybe in my sleep I'll have to do that. Yeah, but I would love to, because it will help the kids, right? And we'd all learn together.
Yeah, it's a fun time, but yes, you do have to make some time for it because it is, you're back in class a little bit. It's fun, but you have to make the time. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, I feel you on the sleep. Like, Every time I'm like, oh my God, don't slip off. Show up, show up.
You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. Both of you, even if it's just the passive. I know, Sandra, you might overhear our classes sometimes with the kids both enrolled. So,
Yes.
some things you'll probably catch on sooner than later too, with just hearing the kids in the class. Yeah.
Thank you, my dear.
You're
Bun
welcome.
is good night. You say Bunwi, correct?
Yeah, Bunny.
Hey,
There we
okay.
go. Excellent. Very good. Thank you guys for hopping on. Anyone else have any last minute questions? Don't forget to grab the link in the chat. Click that. That is for you.
At least I had a question.
Hi, Charlene. Long time.
Hello.
How
I
are you?
know. I'm good. It's just,
Good.
I hear everyone talking about how the busyness, and that's how I feel. I'm so happy I was able to join tonight because it will help me in implementing some of this at home. I guess my question is a little bit more thinking forward wise. So for the next sessions, when do we kind of start to find out when they are and how
Yeah.
we enroll?
Guys, so Charlene's daughter comes to probably all of our sessions. So so here's what we have going on. We have Savannah doesn't matter because Savannah's already here for the full term. So the next enrollment for a full term option it's coming soon. We are going to be starting though classes mid-January. So the week after they go back to school, that's when we would have another full term option enrollment, which full term means the full 12 weeks. Okay. So given that Savannah's already in this session, that would be her next fresh start.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Merci.
Bienvenue. Thank you guys. Carla, you're okay? Carla, we can maybe hang back. Let me just stop all the lives. I got your text earlier. We want to just discuss something. So I can stop all the lives and then we can kind of
No
hang
problem.
out just for a few minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. Good
Au
night.
revoir. Au revoir.
Wow. I love
Bonne
it. Yes. Okay. See you guys.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm going to stop. Give me 1 second, okay, Carla? I'm going to wrap up
Okay.
on my Instagram